All right, here we go. Happy St. Joseph's Day, one and all. Yes, yes, yes. "101 Real News" coming up, folks. What a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. Tomorrow, first day of spring. We're live. Yes, we are. Yep. There's no question about it. Okay. And there we go. We're going to have the latest on the doctor deported and a lot more. Now, let me just go around and check. I believe. Good. JR says we're confirmed. Yes, that's what I mean. All right. There we go. Folks, on this beautiful Wednesday, March Madness tomorrow. Interesting. I haven't seen that. That's different. Who is it? Oh, wow. Oh, my God. That's amazing. Governor agreed. Good for Mike Chippendale. I'll read that story. Folks, we're going to be live. Yep. In just 3 minutes. You know, I was speaking with someone who's in town for St. John's, and said to me, you know, and I hate hearing it, but said, let me adjust this actually, is Rhode Island still as corrupt as it's been? This is someone that lived here quite some time ago. I missed that. I have no idea. And I put it this way, folks, notice, so this is what I said. There's someone in town who I've known who used to live here, and they're big St. John's basketball supporters. And they asked me, is the state still corrupt? And I said, let's put it this way. A state worker who worked on the McKee campaign, who's allowed to act as a radio surrogate on the airwaves, is given 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day. And I know, listen, to be honest, unless I don't listen. There's no reason for me to listen. But it doesn't mean it's not a form of corruption. But around here, no one even blinks anymore. And I mean, I think the Rhode Island GOP and also the local media, as a matter of fact. So, all right, we're standing by. We're going to be live in just a moment. So that's interesting. I want to read that story, plus the latest on the doctor. Folks, Governor McKee, this is insane what's happening right now. And it just never stops to surprise me how people react to Rogers in Newport went on lockdown today. And then, I don't even like saying it, I get messages from people saying, ridiculous, active shooter. It's not an active shooter. But maybe I shouldn't be surprised. An active shooter is someone who is running around firing. That's an active shooter. Maybe I shouldn't be. Hardly that. It's not an active shooter. People toss around that term. But it's the same people that say clickbait. Or if we're out at a police scene, they say, oh, you're an ambulance chaser. No, we're covering live police scenes. All right, we're standing by. JR is going to give us the go-ahead momentarily, folks. There it is. Excuse me, everybody. At 1:06 on this Wednesday. God is good. What a beautiful day. Folks, this is the real news. Now, remember, if you're listening to the radio, we're live right now on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. You can always listen online at our website, which is depetro.com. Now, remember, though, everywhere north of Providence, that AM 1380 AM, it's a flamethrower. We have people that listen all the way up into Worcester, certainly into Bellingham and in Massachusetts, and then into Attleboro and Uxbridge, Douglas, all the way up there. And then Smithfield, North Smithfield. I hear a lot from law enforcement in Lincoln. I hear from people that work in Smithfield every day. By the way, I'm also going to start a new thing. If you like, I do a shout out just for radio listeners. If you listen to the radio, AM 1380, 99.9 FM, if you log on to the website, depetro.com, and just put in, there's a button you press, contact me, and I'll do some shout outs to various people. I hear from so many different people in Greenville and Johnston and so forth, and Cumberland, obviously, Woonsocket, obviously, Burrillville, that listen to the program, especially during the lunchtime. And I will proceed to give you a little bit of a shout out. Folks, this portion of the program, and speaking of depetro.com, remember, it's brought to you by and sponsored by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Remember what I like to say is lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They also have the market at Coesit, the Coesit Inn. Now, for all your propane needs, call the leader. Propane Plus in Rhode Island, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus heating and cooling. They also have a very user-friendly website. It's propaneplus.com. Log on. You just type in your zip code. Boom. Heating and cooling. Propane Plus. 401-885-4209. So I just saw this story. I am going to tell you the latest. I can't believe the comments in this story about the deported doctor. But I just saw something that caught my eye, and I want to give credit to, which I don't mind doing, Kathy Gregg of the Providence Journal. House GOP leader accuses McKee of culture of secrecy over the pallet shelter situation. Oh, wait a minute. I just had it. Hold on. I didn't realize it was behind their paywall. The House GOP, he's a legislative leader and a member of the House Finance Committee. So Rhode Island Republican Mike Chippendale, the House Minority Leader, sent, how much did this cost, these pallet shelters? Culture of secrecy. The McKee administration told him they wanted $495 for the public records. Folks, that's a form of corruption. That should not exist that way. That is a form of corruption. See, this is how corrupt the McKee administration is. And this is another example to me how they should be challenged on something like that. Can you imagine now, McKee, as much as we could chalk it up and say, boy, anything that they can, let me see this. Hold on. Crandall just put something out. I think Crandall. Okay. House Republican leader Mike Chippendales calls press conference to say Rhode Island Housing Department is not adequately responding to his records requests related to costs and contractors at the Foxy Village pallet shelters for homeless. So let's see, Channel 12. Mike Chippendale. Who's with him? He's got some of the leaders. All right, he's got a good turnout here. Efforts he made to obtain documents related to the pallet shelters at Eco Village. He filed an APR, was charged $495. Boy, folks, why should we not be surprised at this? See, that's the attitude of Governor McKee. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. A pressing issue captured the attention. The Foxy Village pallet shelter. This is Republican Mike Chippendale. On February 12th this year, I raised an important question on social media. Why is the cost per bed exceeding $100,000 when a brand new Winnebago, which sleeps 5, has a bathroom, meets all necessary codes, costs $25,000? The response from the public was overwhelming. The people of Rhode Island rightfully demand answers. When I dug deeper, I discovered that the very same pallet shelters purchased for this project are available for approximately $17,000 each. I want to repeat this. Rep Chippendale, the cost per bed at this Eco Village, Foxy Village in Rhode Island now, $100,000. He discovered the same type of project. They cost $17,000 each. Why the increase in $83,000? How much of that went to the McKee reelection campaign? February, I dug deeper, sought to get to the bottom of this using my official capacity. On February 13th, I filed a formal access to public records request with the Rhode Island Department of Housing. From the start, I was met with resistance. Housing then attempted to charge me $495 for the information, which I'm entitled to as a member of the House Finance Committee. When my legal counsel pointed out to Secretary Deborah Goddard through legal counsel, we reached a compromise. I would accept just the financial documents immediately and wait for the emails, which would take time to redact. This is, again, Mike Chippendale. During the compromise, housing continued to delay. They missed multiple deadlines, made excuses. And at the end, after a month of waiting, I received an inadequate response. Vague documents that failed to provide the full picture. Then, incredibly, housing under McKee told me they didn't even have the documents I requested. And that House of Hope, a nonprofit organization, did. How is that possible? They're not the ones paying for it. We're paying for it. Folks, you paid for this. I paid for this. Chippendale says, I will not speculate that the continued delays had anything to do with the governor's reelection announcement on March 3rd, nor the housing secretary sent a confirmation hearing on March 6th, even though it did. I'll say this, for the past 3.5 years, I've worked closely with House Speaker Joe Shekarchi, consistently emphasized the commitment to open, transparent government. Attorney General Peter Nerona has talked about open government. Chippendale continued, this is not a partisan issue. This is about accountability in government. As a Republican, I stand here today acknowledging, appreciating the leadership of Speaker Shekarchi, Attorney General Nerona. I also stand here determined to hold the McKee administration accountable for the taxpayers of the state. Perhaps there were unavoidable costs associated with the project. Perhaps there was a reason why this so-called rapid response emergency shelter was initiated in 2023, but didn't open its doors until 2025. Perhaps it's a mere coincidence that the once Speaker Shekarchi introduced a bill to eliminate burdensome regulations for the project, the shelter was fully opened. The problem is we don't know. The McKee administration refuses to answer these questions. All I want, and taxpayers deserve, is accountability. I want to pursue the full details of the Eco Village project till we get real answers. I urge Governor McGreed to abandon this culture of secrecy and work with me, not against me, Furthermore, I welcome bipartisan support from Attorney General Peter Nerona resolving the standoff. He writes, this is not a fight between Republicans and Democrats. This is the people versus administration refuses to be accountable to the people we put in office. All very legitimate, and I mean legitimate points raised by House Minority Leader Mike Chippendale. Let me see if there's any other follow up on this. That, although that is quite a bit, that is certainly a lot that he put forward. You know, the first question, and the question is, why is it that the shelters in another project cost $17,000, but McKee, they cost $100,000? That is an increase of $83,000, and McKee doesn't want to answer any questions on it. I'll say this. Now, today is Wednesday, so I applaud Speaker Chippendale for having this press conference. And now let's see the media now start to drill down on Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee. Folks, it is, it doesn't make sense. The shelters cost $17,000. McKee puts in that they cost $100,000. I could see if for some reason they said, we thought they were going to be 17, they're 18. I'll even go another 1,000 higher. We thought they were going to be 17. It turns out they're 19,000. But 17 to 100,000. Something up here. Let me stay on schedule. Kids Club on the Pike. Right now, they are taking reservations for their summer camp. Now remember, Kids Club on the Pike. They are right on the Plainfield Pike. They're right on Plainfield Pike, right on the Cranston-Johnson line, off of 295. You can call Kristen 401-443-5336. Kids Club on the Pike. Now, right now, maybe you want to enroll your child into their summer camp for a week, maybe for a month, maybe for the entire summer. Kids Club on the Pike, they're going to love it. This is wildly popular. And a lot of parents say, hey, I still have to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my kids go to summer camp at Kids Club on the Pike. And they have all different types of activities. Again, they're fantastic. Call them. Reserve your space today. 401-443-5336. Kids Club on the Pike. So I want to commend right now Leader Chippendale at 119. And I don't have an answer on this. He doesn't have an answer on this. First of all, of course it was delayed because of the McKee announcement. Everything is political with this guy. That's why they know Hasbro's leaving. Hasbro responded. Hasbro is moving to Boston. They're tired. Hasbro, that has been in Rhode Island, that's where they started. They're tired of the pay-to-play atmosphere that exists in the McKee administration. And folks, when we talk about corruption, they don't even acknowledge and they don't even recognize how corrupt it is. Governor McKee, in dealing with Hasbro, he then says to them, all right, well, you have to hire a lot. In order to deal, you're not going to deal with me. You got to hire a lobbyist. And Hasbro thought, well, we're dealing with the mayor of Boston and the governor of Massachusetts. Why do we have to hire a lobbyist? And the McKee people are saying, see, you have to throw a fundraiser. You have to pay the lobbyist, and then they kick money back to us. Folks, that is corruption. That doesn't go on in other states. As a matter of fact, it's not even going on in Massachusetts. But Rhode Island and McKee, they're so corrupt and so tone deaf that they just think it's the normal course of doing business. Oh, okay, you want to deal with us. You have to hire a lobbyist. They're going to encourage you to throw a fundraiser for me. And then the lobbyist kicks the money back to me. Well, Hasbro said, we're uncomfortable with that. We're going to follow the expression of the golden rule. And McKee said, what's the golden rule? Whoever has the gold rules. Hasbro, who was told repeatedly, well, you can't move out of Pawtucket. Well, they've decided they're going to move to Boston. And McKee knows that. That's why he started taking jabs at them. Well, they're a shrinking company. Hasbro's a $9 billion company. They're moving to Boston. And McKee said, listen, at the very least, just wait till the end of March because I'm announcing I'm running for re-election, which he did. Now, I want to touch on this story because I want to point something out to you. And I'm appalled. But, I can't, it's one of those things you have to I can't just start engaging in going after. I mean, as much as I'd like to the fact that the Channel 10, who continues to go after State Senator Elaine Morgan, but they won't touch them, the chief of staff of the Providence City Council, someone known as June Rose, who got arrested last Thursday at Trump Tower protesting on behalf of a member of Hamas. Channel 10 has no interest in that story. Nope. But they're interested that Elaine Morgan posted something on Facebook about the pallet shelter. But I want to take just through, and it's really quick, about this doctor that's been deported. Notice the reporting on that has died down. By the way, I'm also going to talk about the Cranston story in just a moment. I have good inside info on what happened in Cranston. And keep in mind, this is all while the governor is trying to take firearms away from you. Folks, this portion of our program, and on a nice sunny day like today, and tomorrow's the first day of spring, Watson Materials, the largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island, located South County Trail. Call Sean at Watson Materials, 401-885-0600. Watson Materials, the most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone. Watson Materials, the most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Look for them online at watsonmulch.com or call Sean, request a quote, 401-885-0600. Watson Materials, the most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Let me also just stay on schedule here, and folks, and remind you that the season has begun to improve the outside. Don't forget about our friends J. Perry Paving. Call them today, 401-732-1730. Request a quote, driveway pave, J. Perry Paving, 401-732-1730. You can look for them on Facebook. So the Boston Globe has this story. Deported Rhode Island doctor was in a precarious position arriving at Logan. Expert says. See, look, watch in this story who qualifies as the expert. When she arrived at Logan from Lebanon, the Rhode Island doctor who ended up being deported found herself in a precarious position, according to an immigration law professor. While she had a valid H-1B visa, Dr. Rashad Alawi still had to be admitted back to the United States to return to work as a kidney doctor and professor at Brown Medicine Rhode Island Hospital. While she was in Boston, she was in effect at the border, not yet admitted back into the United States. She's still a citizen of Lebanon, and she wouldn't have constitutional rights until she was admitted to the country. Although she could have refused to let immigration authorities access her cell phone, that could have given authorities grounds to deny her admission, said Deborah Gonzalez, director of the Immigration Law Clinic at Roger Williams University School of Law. Keep in mind, someone else who was teaching at Roger Williams is the attorney who they just raided his office back in January. But listen to this. No question, precarious position. Boy, they love that phrase. On Monday, they deported her back to Lebanon because she attended a funeral service for the leader of Hezbollah, which the United States, I like this, which the United States considers a terrorist organization. Is there another free country in the world that doesn't consider them a terrorist organization? The United States considers a terrorist organization? What about Great Britain? What about Israel? What does Germany consider them? Hezbollah, who's basically an extension of Iran? The United States considers them a terrorist organization. Is it other than Iran, North Korea, China, who doesn't consider them a terrorist organization? Oh, you mean the killing of the innocent civilians? Oh, hold on. Is it because of the suicide bombers you're considering them a terrorist organization? So let me get to where Gonzalez now. This lady, folks, in her mind, it should be all open borders at Roger Williams. But listen to her quote. And she had photos on her phone of Hezbollah fighters and martyrs. See, that's code. Who are these people? Oh, those are our fighters and martyrs. No, they're terrorists. Do you understand? These people would consider Osama bin Laden, well, he's a fighter and a martyr. No, he's a deranged psychopath killer is what he is. So she had photos on her phone of Hezbollah fighters and martyrs and Iran's supreme leader. Hilton Beckham, arriving aliens bear the burden of establishing admissibility to the United States, adhere to strict protocols, identify and stop threats. They committed to protect the United States from national security threats. Listen to this. Gonzalez says she knows of no other high-profile case immigration authorities have deported someone because of photos found on their phone or attendance at a funeral. That's a lie. That's a lie. Why is she allowed to say that? I'll get to it. But we're living in a different world now, Gonzalez says, because of Trump. She said immigration officials will look at social media posts and seek access to phones. Now, this is Gonzalez at Roger Williams. I can only imagine the meme. You know what? I will contact her and see if she would grace us with her presence. The memes I have in my phone of Trump that could lead someone to think that I believe in the political ideology of Donald Trump, which I absolutely do not. Folks, this is where they skirt and leave out what actually really happened here. And that is, and as I had mentioned, one more point I want to make. Last week, lawyers from a Washington, D.C. law firm, and Donna Perry pointed this out, became involved in the case representing her cousin. But they withdrew from the case. Gonzalez says she doesn't know why they withdrew. We know why they withdrew. Because this Dr. Hezbollah was lying. Here's the part I just want to get to, and this is really important, and this is not in the Globe story. Can you believe this? This is the narrative that they're creating. And keep in mind, I'm sure at Roger Williams, which is really woke and far, far left, which employed, notice there's no mention of the attorney who's had his office raided, who was the city solicitor or something. He was the judge in Central Falls. And then he also was a professor at Roger Williams. Notice no mention of that in the story. But here's the part that they leave out. Because this Gonzalez says, can you imagine, just because she has a photo of being at this funeral, they deported her? That's not it. They went through her phone. That is true. They did find not only the photos, they found that she had deleted the photos. But what Professor Gonzalez leaves out, in the story leaves out, is what led them to stop her, prevent her from coming into the United States and returning to Rhode Island, was the conversation that they had with the doctor. And the conversation went akin to, so who is that? Oh, she referred to the leader of Hezbollah and Iran's supreme leader as, excuse me, I don't follow their politics. They're spiritual advisors. I believe in their religious teachings, but I'm not into their politics. Folks, that's left out. You can only imagine the guards at Logan. I mean, sitting in front of them is someone who'd been operating a sleeper cell in Providence. And by the way, successfully. Thank God President Trump came in. It wasn't what was in her phone. That led them to then question her. And you have someone sitting there who's still a citizen of Lebanon and saying, oh, so what's your view of Hezbollah? Oh, well, the leader, he's my spiritual leader. What about the supreme leader of Iran? Again, another spiritual leader of mine. So do you agree with their politics? No, I don't follow politics. I just follow their teaching. This is a word salad because they purposely say that. Do you understand how dangerous this is? It wasn't what was on her phone. I mean, in a way it was, but her phone, what was on her phone, and then she deleted from her phone, led to them talking to her. She didn't say, listen, they're terrorists. I don't subscribe to that. I don't follow. No. She said, oh, that's my spiritual leader. I follow their teachings. Yeah, their teachings are, let's kill all the Jews. Their teachings are that Israel is evil, that America is evil, as a matter of fact. Their teachings are kill all the infidels and kill all the Jews. I've heard now from a number of people that she wasn't loud about it, but she certainly had no interest in treating any Jewish patients at Rhode Island Hospital. There were different people that started to pick up on that and notice that. What does that tell you? But what I want to just be very clear, where this story leaves out. Now, again, I don't know. You never know with the newspaper article because there's editors. Maybe there was something and it was taken out. I don't know that. But for this professor, Roger Williams, to try to say, oh, see, they try to set up panic. Can you imagine someone taking your phone? It's not about that. She didn't say someone sent that to me, right? I was back and my cousin sent me some photos, or we found it online, and I wanted to see if I recognized it. She didn't say that. She didn't swear off of, no, their teachings are vile. I don't follow their teachings. She confirmed to them, oh, they're my leaders. They're my religious leaders. And as I have said, that's more dangerous. That's more dangerous of if someone may say, I agree with their politics. That's one thing. But to say, oh, I regard them as my religious spiritual leader, that's far more dangerous. And notice there's nothing on that. Nothing about that. Nothing remotely close. I notice local media, they don't like to highlight that. They don't want to highlight what she was saying because they like the narrative that because of President Trump, she's being treated unfairly. Look at this. They can deport anybody. They take your phone, and then that's not what happened. I find for her to regard Hezbollah, folks, they're Hamas. They are terrorists. They fit the definition of terrorism. They kill innocent people. Hezbollah has killed hundreds of Americans. They've killed thousands of people. And according to Dr. Hezbollah here from Brown and Rhode Island Hospital, oh, they're my spiritual leader. I find that frightening. I find that deeply troubling, to put it mildly. Someone like that to me is more dangerous than someone that says, I was young and I was handing out leaflets and I did it as a student project and we had to be part of a campaign and blah, 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 or anything like that. That's not what this is. This is far more egregious. To me, that tells me that our systems are working because it was the right move not to let her back in. So Channel 10 is going after State Senator Elaine Morgan. How dare you put on Facebook? You know why they're upset? Because she posted on Facebook that when she went to the Foxy Village to look around or whatever. And again, I don't think that was the best idea. But why she's facing so much backlash from Channel 10 and is because she said she was greeted by a dark-skinned male. So they say she should have just put a male. Whatever. It sounds like she was just trying to be descriptive. And I'm already seeing that other people are describing her as a racist. To me, it seems that to me it seems that they they're just going after her to go after her. I mean, that's really what it seemingly comes down to. But I'll tell you who else they're not going after. So notice the story died and there's no follow-up. So Channel 10, and they even put after repeated request to Senator Elaine Morgan about her Facebook post. That's the Channel 10 story. You know they're not following up with? They're not following up with they, them. They're not following up with June Rose, Chief of Staff of the Providence City Council, who was arrested at Trump Tower last Thursday at a protest for the Hamas activist who was deported from Colombia. Nothing on that. They have suddenly local media, they have no interest in the story. What I find interesting, folks, about Channel 10 is they're actually owned by a conservative company, which is Sinclair. But locally, Channel 10 is like the most woke group. I know a lot of people think Channel 12 is, but admittedly, I don't, not only do I not watch, I mean, I don't watch local television. I don't. I mean, I go on their websites, and if I see a story, I pull it up. But I don't sit and watch. I don't local TV. And by the way, I'm not alone. Wait till you hear the story I'm going to tell you about next. But folks, this portion of the program is brought to you. Let's stay on schedule here, Juan. Modern Mechanical. Call Richard today at Modern Mechanical, 401-441-5442. Modern Mechanical. Now, they're located right in Warwick. What can they do for you, Modern Mechanical? Central air conditioning installation, repair and maintenance, ductless air conditioning installation, ductless repair and maintenance, Modern Mechanical, boiler repair and maintenance, furnace repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance, Modern Mechanical. Call them today, 401-441-5442. If you're having a trouble with any of that and you want it straightened out, call Modern Mechanical, 401-441-5442. Remember, furnace repair and maintenance, boiler repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance, or maybe central air conditioning, or ductless air conditioning, or repair and maintenance. Call Richard and his crew, 401-441-5442, and you can look for them on Facebook. Now, as I was mentioning, I noticed that, I mean, it's not just me, but I have found that lately we just leave Fox News Channel on all day. I don't even flip around. And anytime I flip around, I then regret that I flip around. I will watch Court TV. I watch it on demand. I'll watch Julie Grant in the morning. Sometimes I watch Vinny at night. Obviously, I'll watch NCAA college basketball. But aside from that, I don't watch any of that stuff. I no longer watch. I used to watch, years ago, I used to watch and actually record some of the Sunday local public affairs shows. I don't even, for what? It's a narrative. I will see who are the guests they have on Newsmakers, but that's it. The rest is all, to me, it's like, it's not people that are dealing in reality. And I'm not alone here. Now, the local news, I know that they're not going to promote this, but I want to tell you folks just where things are right now at 1:40 on this beautiful Wednesday. Tomorrow's the first day of spring. And this to me it's really remarkable. It is incredible what is happening. Now, I mentioned, people ask me, and I say, I just, obviously because Kate works it, but I put on Fox News Channel, in the morning, and we just leave it on all day. I don't flip to a lot of the. I don't. And anytime I do, other than I'll watch some of the Big East. Well, not Big East, the NCAA. Fox News Channel is now the #2 network in prime time. During the week of March 10th through the 16th, Fox News Channel finished #2 ahead of, now CBS, for whatever reason, is still #1. But Fox News Channel finished ahead of ABC and NBC. What is so remarkable about that is, number one, there are still people that don't have cable. So they don't get to see that. And I don't know what your cable system is like. I now use YouTube TV. And you do have to, well, on the homepage, it's there just because we always click to it. But otherwise, you have to click way down. The first couple of channels on YouTube TV, #1 is Channel 6, #2 is Channel 10. Then they throw in Fox Providence, and then the #4 station is Channel 12. Those are my first 4 stations. I have to go way down. Folks, Fox News Channel is beating primetime now. Starts with Jesse Waters, Hannity, and then Gutfeld at 10. They're beating the networks, ABC and NBC, and they're barely behind CBS. Fox News Channel, this is so, can you imagine if Fox News Channel was, whatever your cable system, I mean, my old Cox cable used to be, the lowest is Channel 2, right, out of Boston. Then it was, Channel 3 was Cox 3. We used to be on Cox 3 many years ago. Then, I don't remember Channel 4 or 5. Channel 6, and then I think it would jump to Channel 9, the CW, as I think of it, and then Channel 10, then Fox Providence. Can you imagine if Fox News Channel was just in that first lineup? I mean, Fox News Channel is the #2 network in prime time. Laura Ingraham at 7, but then Jesse, Hannity, and Gutfeld, 8 to 11. They beat NBC and ABC. Folks, no one wants any more of that nonsense. The #1 show on Fox is The Five. 4 million viewers. Just 2554. The Five on Fox, which a couple weeks ago, I actually did sit in on. I did, right on the set. But Dana, Gutfeld, Jesse Waters, Judge Janine, and then the rotating whoever. The Five beats CBS Evening News. More people are watching The Five than watch the evening news, national news, on Channel 12. Folks, do you see that the rest of the country, and by the way, Gutfeld is the king. I mean, he is crushing Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon. Forget about during the day. I mean, it's just completely. My point is, see, that's something that the Democrat Party in our all right, good. I'm seeing that some people are following up on Rep. Chippendale's press conference. Patrick Anderson of the Journal. Final Echo Village cost estimate I got was $5 million to build and operate through September. Construction was $4 million, operation $1.23 million. But why is it that those units only cost? We don't get straight answers from the McKee administration, Chippendale says, referring to the ILO contract and the Washington Bridge. He's exactly right. Folks, I just want to, again, the pallets cost $17,000. Other developments around the country that have purchased these paid $17,000. Here's the question. Why did the McKee administration put down that it cost them $100,000? Where'd the money go? You want to talk about corruption. Wow. All right, 146. That is a story to watch and follow up on. I want to commend House Minority Leader Chippendale. Folks, this portion of our program, while maybe you've been thinking of doing a special project with your home, especially residential design, you want to redo a room. Maybe you want to redo your family room, open it up into a little more of a living space. Arch Design Builders. Give them a call today, 401 207 4124. Arch Design Builders, free consultation, 401 207 4124. Maybe it's a special project. Maybe you want to do a renovation. Maybe you want to do an addition, or maybe it's time for a new kitchen, bathroom, basement, deck. Arch Design Builders. You're going to get a chance to meet with my friends, Ed and Roxanne, the Dream Team, and they're fantastic. 401 218 9707. I share their Facebook page. By the way, they're also the ones that put on that remarkable fundraiser for the Charahoe twins. But family owned and operated, quality, integrity. I hear from so many of people that have dealt with them and they rave about them. Arch Design Builders, 401 218 9707. So I want to give credit to House Minority Leader Mike Chippendale. And I'll tell you, he is stepping up. First of all, I also like that. Oh, I love this. That is great. This is always my favorite photo. President Trump, White House Faith Office welcome faith leaders from across the country to pray in the Oval Office. And there's all these faith leaders. President Trump sits there with his eyes closed, and they all have their I just want to put always my favorite photo. I love he sits with his eyes closed, and they put their hands on him, and all their eyes closed, and they're all praying. But good for Representative Chippendale. And I also wanted to mention he also stepped up and refused to go and be part. Oh, I got to tell you about the Cranston thing. To be part of the, he refused to be part of the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce Dog and Pony Show. Known as Senate Minority Leader Jessica De La Cruz. She went to that. She shouldn't have gone to that. And if she's your elected official, you should say that. Folks, in our area, whether it's Rhode Island or Mass, Republicans have to show unity. They have to stick together on things. And that was something she should not have gone to that. Oh, well, I wanted to go and speak. Well, you don't have to speak at that. She shouldn't have gone. Well, I want to listen. Not with that. That's where I know people like her. I always try. I keep trying to look for a sign that she just, to me, she just shows no political instincts. Again, it doesn't mean she's not, she's a nice person. It doesn't mean she's not a nice person, and all of that. But she shouldn't have gone to that. All right, I have info on the Cranston situation here. Let me find it. Here it is. Oh, my goodness. So terrible. Listen to this. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to want to hear this. I won't say the name. So the victim here in Cranston was home with his daughter, who's pregnant, granddaughter. And they're having breakfast. And then this dirtbag was trying to get into the house. And then he was going through their trash cans. So this woman's son goes out, the man in the house. I think he's the one on the video in red, and starts saying, like, what are you doing here? So the guy going through, and I'll show his photo in a moment, he starts stabbing the son. So the granddaughter's crying. She's pregnant, as a matter of fact. He's calling out to her. I had that audio. I didn't release it. Channel 12 did. It made me uncomfortable hearing him saying, he's stabbing me, stabbing me. He's in surgery. They're going to close the wounds. He's going to have a lot. It sounds like a long recovery. And then those neighbors came running down. So they're just relaxing in their home, and it didn't hit the organs, according to the mother, who's also was her granddaughter, was with their father. Just rotten. So you see the video. The son's wrestling with him, trying not to get stabbed anymore, and then that animal stabbing him. It's just so terrible. Uh, Self-defense. Well, it was absolutely self-defense. Folks, as I have also mentioned, let me just quickly, everyone watching, there's the mugshot. Devin Tallow. Can you imagine this dirtbag, subhuman, is outside your house going through your garbage cans. And then when you go out, like, hey, what are you doing here? Takes out a knife and is stabbing him. It's just, but and what's Governor McKee doing? Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee. Well, we have to tighten up our gun laws. They keep allowing. Governor McKee runs a sanctuary state, and they just keep allowing more of these individuals in that are, and I'll say it, but are dangerous to the people that reside in the state. But I want to be very clear. I commend House Minority Leader Mike Chippendale. Good. He's right about that. And folks, look how Governor McKee, it's just, and I take note, and listen, this weekend, are you kidding me? He's the governor, and it's the NCAA first round. St. John's with Rick Pitino is in town. Of course, then, Rick Pitino will have to be gracious. Oh, the governor of Rhode Island wants to take a photo with you. He'll be there for that. Coach John Calipari will be in town, coach of Arkansas. Same type of thing. McKee, he'll be in all his glory. He and Pork Boy. Folks, they're hiding documents. Now, I told you how the feds are still complaining that McKee won't hand over all the documents on the bridge. And I think it's also the people of East Providence. They should be speaking out, because Mayor De Silva, the mayor of East Providence, I believe he has an obligation to make sure that the documents are handed over to the FBI during this investigation. And I think Mayor of East Providence, Bob DEI Silva, he should not be going along with McKee where they're withholding documents and they won't cooperate fully with the investigation. Folks, do you see? I mean, McKee, number one, with the contract, he was hiding documents. Then it's the bridge contract. I'll give Governor McKee this. He's certainly consistent. Now, it would seem like a simple project. How much, what is all the cost on this, quote, Foxy Village on state land? Because it doesn't make sense. If the units are only supposed to cost $17,000, why did Governor McKee put down that they were $100,000? I think what they need, you wonder, are they keeping two sets of books? Is the McKee administration, are they taking, they only pay the company one amount, but then they put in, it's that. So I think that is the big question. Where is that money? And it's a lot of money. Millions, as a matter of fact. Sure sounds like millions. As I've been telling you folks, we deserve better. And this afternoon, now we'll be ready. Something happens, we'll definitely do road patrol. But his little surrogate pal of the airwaves, he'll try to spin this or just move on to something else or talk about President Trump and Elon Musk in some way. I don't know. To be perfect, I can't be bothered. I can't. There's nothing to be gained out of it. It's just a babbling idiot. But I'll tell you who's not. Is Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Call Corey today, 401-283-2000. 9815. 401-283-9815. Quality asphalt seal coating. What can they do? More and more people like pickleball. Well, they can do sport court resurfacing, pickleball, tennis, basketball, quality asphalt seal coating. If you're listening or watching, call Corey, free estimate 401 283 9815. They'll seal coat driveways, parking lots, make the pavement look like new, crack filling, pothole repair, line striping. Call Corey. They also do pickleball courts, tennis, basketball courts, epoxy your garage, patio, decorative concrete flooring, quality asphalt seal coating. Call Corey, free quote 401 283 9815. Well, folks, good afternoon. I want to commend House Minority Leader Mike Chippendale. And I think right now, I feel pretty confident saying that right now, I think that that is the big story. The situation in Cranston, what's so frightening about that is that's someone in their home. And suddenly, a very dangerous individual with a blade is outside his home. Now, that's right off Phoenix Avenue, near Atwood Avenue. And it's broad daylight, and they're just in the kitchen, and there's suddenly someone going through their trash can. So, and what happens? The guy, hey, what are you doing here? And then he just attacks him and starts stabbing him. And what's Governor McKee's reaction? Well, we have to take more of the guns away from legal gun owners. Folks, it's not even rational. You know, I'm so glad that Governor Walz, that ran with Harris, that he's making the rounds now. And he's putting himself out there now. And he's rooting for Tesla stock to go down. I'm so glad he's out there because that guy is a complete jackass. And he showcases himself to be that. And when you have like a Governor McKee, oh, he's a good friend. Oh, Governor Walz. Oh, I support him. Oh, he's the best. He's so impressive. That guy, I don't even like to talk about it. He was putting female he was putting female hygiene products in male restrooms at the high school. That's who you're talking about. I love that the battle right now in the Democrat Party is who's the leader, Governor Walz or is it AOC? Governor McKee. Well, I'm with Tim Walz. Yeah, Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, who also said Joe Biden is the greatest president Rhode Island's ever seen. You know, what I like is, and I like pointing out to you, is these people are on the wrong side of issues. They're on the wrong side of history. They're on the wrong side of issues. That guy is a clown, and so is McKee. So I salute House Minority Leader Mike Chippendale. I'm glad that he drew attention to the fact that McKee is once again hiding, and I mean hiding a lot of money. Folks, if you listen to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. If you're watching, we'll be back later for Road Patrol Live. Listen, enjoy this beautiful Wednesday.